All right, I got 7 o'clock. So we'll start the monthly lesson in civics. Can we do a roll call, Pat?
Commission members, turn on your mics.
What?
Microphone.
That's yours. I
Okay.
don't have one. Thank you.
Carl Kretzinger.
Here.
Jeff Goodall.
Here.
Butch Becker.
Here.
Don Kettering.
Here.
Deborah Bodenstedt.
Here.
Zane Williams.
Here.
Larry Koenig.
Here.
Dan Guthmiller.
Here.
Michael Welch.
Yes.
Quorum present.
Next item is the approval of the minutes from June 12th. If there's any comments or questions from the Plan Commission, or if you motion to approve as they're presented.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
So I have Becker and Goodall.
Becker, Carl.
Kettering.
Don.
Don had it.
Becker and Kettering.
Actually, it was Kettering and
Kettering and Becker. Kettering.
Doesn't really matter.
The first item will be at 7:05, so we have a couple of minutes on that.
So you do a voice vote on
All in
that.
favor?
Voice vote.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Getting ahead of myself.
So we got 2 minutes.
Opposed,
I'd
same
like to
sign.
just say a couple things. One thing. I think we had a fantastic week on the world scene this year, this week with the recovery of those kids in Thailand. And I don't know how many people know it, but Deb Bodenstedt was a Navy diver, and we had Navy divers involved in that recovery, and get a chance to look at any of the films and how that mission was worked. It required a great deal of planning and courage, and it was a great outcome.
luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Don.
So in accordance, one thing I'll also point out, in accordance with South Dakota state law, there will be a period for open public comment at the end of the night. And that will be 2 minutes a person, and if you want to speak, we'll have you sign in, and then we'll go with that. That's,
And that's on what?
basically it could only be anything, so
Comment?
we'll have, when we get to that, we'll have people sign in, and then everyone will have 2 minutes to.
It's up to the chairman to govern the relevancy of the discussion.
Yes. Okay, so,
So just a little bit more touching on that.
Supreme Court Judge.
That is meeting the new state statute that was implemented July 1st, which said that all public meetings must now have a public comment period. So ours will be scheduled at the end of our regular working session, which tonight is scheduled for 7:45. So we can't adjourn until we open it up for our public comment.
So is that, Pat, on each and every other one, you still have the regular ones? This is just a regular-
This is just
A regular,
general.
just a separate deal for people who want to air their opinions?
And Pat, as I understand it, the way it works is the individual has the right to come up and talk for the period of time that is allocated. Nobody on the commission replies.
That's the way it should work.
Okay.
It's not a
It's not a
hearing.
question and answer.
And it's not a hearing, nor is it a subjective to statements. It's not even something that's even documented as far as minutes. It's a public it's a public comment period.
Is there relevancy to the zoning?
That's up to the
Yeah.
chairperson to monitor.
All right, we have 7:05, and applicant James Larson is requesting a variance of minimum yard requirement, a side yard from 75 foot to 25 foot to build an accessory structure in an agriculture district, AG in Yankton County. Said property is legally described as Track 3, West Jim River Road, Jim River Division, northwest 1/4, northwest 1/4, Section 33, Township 94 North, Range 55 West, hereinafter referred to as Mission Hill North Township, County of Yankton, State of South Dakota. 911 address is 3616 Southwest Jim River Road, Yankton, South Dakota. Mr. Larson, are you here to present your proposal?
James Larson, live at 3616 Southwest Jim River Road. I want to put up a machine shed, 60 by 40.
60 by
and
what?
at the variance that was described.
Yeah, it's 60/40 unit. Okay, and you chose this specific location being, I guess, nearer the property line. You had a good reason for doing that?
It's on the north end of my property.
Yes?
And 75 feet from the fence line, I deem that as, it's kind of a waste of property. 75 feet is, you can get it, you can clean between there, you can run a mower between there.
Is there any reason, like perhaps there was access that was like going directly into the building from that direction, or?
That was a major consideration there. I have a driveway to the north there, and it aligns up with that at a better angle.
Is there any issues with your neighbor to the north there?
No, he stopped in and he said, Jim, don't forget, build it bigger than what you think you're gonna need.
Absolute truth, Jim.
I said, well, that's kinda gotta go by the pocketbook too.
Thank you.
Mr. Larson, do you own a property adjacent to where that property line will be?
Yes,
No.
yes.
That field?
To the south,
I just asked him, he said no, the neighbor.
Hmm.
You don't own the property north of
no, no, no.
That's the
Directly,
neighbor you're talking
yes,
about.
yeah.
When you were speaking, you said 75 foot gives you enough room to mow. You mean
25 feet,
25 feet?
25 feet is what
Okay.
we were talking.
Does anyone have any other further questions for Mr. Larson?
What are the 20-foot sidewalls? 16?
Probably 16.
Yeah, you don't, yeah, that'd be enough.
I want to put a loft in there, so it might go 18, I'm not sure.
Get a lot more extra storage.
I have a garage in town that is filled, and I'm planning on selling that and going through it and moving the stuff that I really, really can't part with up into the loft.
There you go. There you go.
Sounds like my wife. No, I said it sounds like my wife. But maybe she
Yeah, I
quit
think
saving so much stuff.
I didn't know you knew his wife.
And if you tell her I said that.
But I don't know, my deceased wife might have known your wife. 'Cause
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff is,
Probably.
As long as she's not up there.
She knew everybody.
yeah,
This, is it you're gonna build a Morton, it's a steel shed. Paul?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Any further questions?
It's gonna be a steel
Color?
building.
Yeah.
Color?
Yes, yes.
What color are you gonna make it?
White, maybe white, or, earth tones, nothing that's gonna be gaudy, it isn't gonna draw attention to anything.
Make it match the color of your house.
Yeah.
Gray,
You're gonna have windows in it?
yes. There are gonna be windows in it, there'll probably be two doors, one facing the
Go ahead and ask.
east and west, and I'm not sure about windows on the north side. There will be windows on the south side.
How far is this gonna be from your house?
Oh my gosh. I've
200 ways.
never
Far
measured
enough.
it.
225 feet.
Yeah, about that.
Enough so you can get exercise.
Oh, yeah.
You can get between there.
I'm gonna have to take my side-by-side and drive over there.
Yeah. That's all the questions I have.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have running water in there and that?
That's the plan, running water and the bathroom, because in my age of 71, when you gotta use the facilities, you don't wanna hop in and go to the house. I might not make it.
You're in the country, you don't need to do that.
Then you'll have
You're
to,
behind the
All
bar.
right, any further questions?
yeah, you'll have to have a septic, of course, yeah.
How far is the pool from the house? Whatever.
That's all, Mr. Larson, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in support of this project? Is there anyone in the audience who would speak against this project? Any further discussion on the planning commission?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
You gotta
Don? Second?
make a motion to
I-
Zane,
Zane-
Zane did it, I
Zane-
second.
Yeah.
Oh, Zane?
Yeah.
I guess we gotta say our names, sound like,
Or bring your hearing aid next time.
Butch.
So
Good.
Williams making
Williams
the
and
motion,
Goodall.
Goodall seconding
Yes.
approval of the variance of the yard requirement from 75 feet to 25 feet for the accessory structure on the Larson property.
Yes, sir.
And in accordance with what we've done lately, this is presently zoned, already presently zoned area.
Correct.
Correct.
And the variance fits in well because there's an existing driveway that aligns correctly with the proposed structure.
And then we'll put in a septic tank, or septic system, I should say.
Williams,
Yes.
Goodall,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Goldenstedt,
Yes.
Koenig,
Yes.
Kretzinger,
Yep.
Kettering,
Yes.
Duff Miller,
Yes.
Welsh.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We're moving right along. We got 2 minutes again.
Give time for Pat to pull up the next picture.
The next applicant will be, I'm gonna screw this name up, Leonel Herrera.
Just, he'll read it first. I can't start for a couple minutes yet, but thanks.
Ooh.
15-foot sidewalks.
I thought in that ag district you could have any size structure. Oh, it's moderate, never mind.
Can you put on the zoning for us, Pat? The R2, can you put that out there?
Yeah. And backing out a ways, this is just below Vollen. Let me back out even further so you get an idea where I am here, but there's Vollen. Okay, so we call this the Bluff Road, and the zoning there is,
Moderate.
R2 more
it's gonna,
density.
yeah, but you're gonna, it's layered. It's very, it's not, it's irregular. And it goes to the county line. And it starts in here, and this isn't in it, but this isn't in it, but it's hard. That's part of what we're gonna be looking at today, is that there's an administrative issue here too, with this accessory structure size. And so, and that's part of the issue is that, like, anyway, so this is zoned R2. And then there's the property we're looking at. Okay, these guys said.
All right, we have 7:15. Mr. Herrera, if you come up and tell us about your project.
Get introduce it.
Applicant is requesting.
My name is Nicholas Slattery.
Okay, let him introduce the thing.
Applicant is requesting a variance of maximum accessory structure size from 1,200 square feet with 12-foot sidewalls to build a 40-foot by 60-foot with 18-foot sidewalls, 2,400 square foot accessory structure in a moderate density rural residential district, R2, in Yankton County. Said property is legally described as Lot 1, or Lot L1, northwest 1/4, northwest 1/4, except Lot L2, northwest 1/4, northeast 1/4, and except north 660 feet, northwest 1/4, northeast 1/4, section 24, township 94 north, range 54 west, hereinafter referred to as Vollen Township, County of Yankton, State of South Dakota. 911 address is 45166 Bluff Road, Vollen. Now you can proceed, sir. Go ahead.
My name is Nick Slattery. I'm representing Lionel Herrera, who is deceased. We put up a 40 by 60 building for him and requesting variance for it.
It's already built?
It's built. There was extenuating circumstances. We were going to put a brand new home there. And in the process of planning and starting the structure, we had talked to Mr. Garrity about doing this all in one fell swoop, put the house and the building all together. Well, halfway through the build on the 40 by 60, Mr. Herrera passed away. And so I completed the project for Mrs. Herrera, and at that time, they decided that it wasn't in their best interest to build a new house for a 72-year-old woman that was going to live by herself in a 3,500 square foot home. So we completed the project. I called Mr. Garrity and told him the situation, and that is why we're asking for this variance now for the building.
Did you have a building permit to build the 40 by 60?
Yes.
Yes.
Wasn't that required a variance the first time?
Yeah.
Did we
But
get
as
it?
he explained to you, that was going to be not an accessory structure, but a house. It was going to be, correct, we were going to make that be.
Oh.
That was
The
gonna be
primary
a,
structure
Oh,
with
this
living
is-
quarters, yeah.
they were gonna live in it.
Become a primary structure.
This
So
was
let me
gonna
help
be, this was
just a
gonna
little
be.
bit more, which is a good question. So what happened was, it now has become an accessory structure.
Okay.
And it won't become,
There was gonna be living quarters in it, now there isn't.
yes.
Oh, there was going to be a,
Was that going to become the house?
That's why when I.
We were discussing that, yeah.
That's how we got it permitted.
Okay, and because he passed,
He's passed it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
No.
Pat
where's
gave
the
us-
stand in the estate? Is there an estate?
Well, but that's not our concern right now is that I have a building there that's not legal underneath what we issued that building permit for, so it's issued a variance that makes that building legal.
You were able to issue an administrative permit because it was gonna be a big.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And now it's an accessory structure, so let's variance it
Change
for
your,
its use.
change your views.
Yep. And then, and we can look at several circumstances that fit that. A very large lot, it's in a very ag area, it's a good accessory structure for that area, but it wasn't meant to be, it was meant to be a complex. They were gonna do, it wasn't gonna be a standalone feature, that building.
so the building is north of those three white buildings?
With the mouse there.
Zoom in maybe.
Maybe if you went up and just pointed it out, it'd be easier.
It's right in there.
Yep, right there.
Okay.
Was it finished last year?
That's the structure right there we're
I just
talking about.
finished it about
Oh, okay.
a month ago.
That's why it's not.
Yeah.
This structure here is still there, it's right here.
Yep. All the existing buildings are still there. And then we just added just northwest of that dot where his cursor is, going west. It sets back behind that building.
So who's living in the house?
Mrs. Herrera.
now.
Yeah,
In the existing residence.
yeah. Do you mind if I go up?
No, then please do, because I'm a little confused here.
The existing house is right here, everybody.
What that, what are these other
What's
just
that?
barns?
These are
or-
accessory buildings.
Oh,
And then we put the other shed right here.
but it doesn't even show up.
It's not on this
Map.
brand new.
Oh, you had just built it. And you had approved it because it was a house.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, that was gonna,
the plan was that was gonna be a complex situation. The house is what? Weren't we working away from the house? Were we gonna say the house is gonna, we weren't remodeling the house?
No, we're not remodeling it. We were building onto that whole area back there.
But, so it's all gonna be a connected,
They had a master plan to get rid of this house, put this structure here and add on all the way around here. So that was all together.
Oh.
So everything's set back there. All these structures are, forward on the property and clean it all up so that they had more.
Those are just old buildings.
Yeah, those are storage buildings.
So you were calling it, it was connected to the house, is what the deal was, that's how it
Well, we didn't got it all planned out.
Sure,
We were just in the process of doing all that and he died.
what's the altitude on the back part of the lot?
Highest spot.
Yeah, Bryce,
Oh,
very
we're probably
steep.
about 20 feet
Highest
up
spot
from
on
the
the
road.
land.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's pretty good.
But how did you issue an
We dug it
administrative
out
permit
into
if
the
it
hill.
wasn't connected to a house?
but it was gonna be.
It was gonna
Oh, that's
be.
what it was gonna be.
Yeah, we just
Right.
hadn't
That's my
finished
question.
planning.
Yeah,
So this hasn't been
we're
built
working
at all?
together on this.
The building
Yes,
is
it's
built.
built.
The structure is built.
Well, where is it?
But
not on that.
It's not on this, this is,
This is last year's photo.
this photo is from Google Maps or something that
Okay,
you
so-
can't
It's
see. it.
2017. It's on your little map.
It's on,
I drew it on there for you where it
It's a
is.
black thing right here.
it's a black circle, yeah.
It's a black circle.
Square,
That's where it
yeah.
is.
Okay.
And,
And so when we came in,
but what one had you just finished?
that shed,
That.
Yeah.
the one we're giving the variance for. Okay, now slow down a little bit. We come in and we say, look, here's our property, and we want to get going on this. We have a structure here, a house structure here right now, it's our house. We're going to live in our house. We want to build this accessory structure with building on and having the house come around on this side of it. It's going to take us 2-3 years to do that. Do I need a variance? No, because you're going to have you're going to do your primary structure there. You are. I don't care how big that accessory structure is. It's going to be attached to your primary structure. I don't need a variance until he passed away.
And they
Now
don't
I
build
don't
the
have a
house.
primary structure going up there anymore. It's not going to be attached to that accessory, that structure. It's not going to have primary, anything in it. It's an accessory structure now.
It's a barn.
You got to get, it's an accessory structure.
It's
You
an
have to
accessory
give me a
structure.
variance to make that legal now. Because we're not going to do that they thought they were going to do a
yeah,
year ago.
it's not gonna happen.
Okay, is that clear?
Yep.
We proceeded with stage one, couldn't get to stage two before he
Couldn't,
died.
before Mr. Air passed.
So we have nothing else we can do but
Well,
approve it.
There's plenty of hardship.
It's kind
That
of
was
like that.
the difficulty or the
It's just that
hardship would be then.
usually the house gets built at the same time as the garage, but
I think he's all.
Well, because it was an existing home, and then they were basically gonna build a new one, and then,
It was over the winter time and we didn't get an opportunity to finish what we started planning. So he died in January.
So the other house was coming out once that was done,
Yeah, we were gonna start that right away in the spring.
and she decided not to.
Well, yeah, as a family.
So because this is R2, we need a variance for the size.
yes.
Yes, because he missed the yard setback.
And I think we need an administrative note that this was initially permitted as an administrative permit, and then ownership issues changed.
I'll make a motion.
That's
It better
the
be
way
good.
we have to talk to
Who
the
is the primary applicant, deceased?
We still have to have public input. Thank you very much.
Yep. Can I be excused?
Is there, yes, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak against this project? Yes, sir. If you step forward and name and address and how far you are from the property and
I'm Jim Claddick, and I lived at 45152 Bluff Road. I'm not here to speak against or for the project. I'm concerned about what the project is. It's already built. I wasn't aware of that. Of course, maybe shouldn't have been. But my concern is, what is the building going to be used for?
Storage.
Okay. It's the only thing I had.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address this issue? Back to the planning commission. Any comments or questions?
Let me clarify the answer storage. That, what does it take if he wants to turn it into
House.
something other than storage down the road?
If he goes commercial, he's in a residential district, it would take a conditional use permit.
He could put a house and have that as the accessory and get rid of the house and back to residential.
He's still residential in that
I mean,
district.
he could use that,
But-
attach a structure to it.
As far as storage,
In response to
question.
the question, all I wouldn't want is to be assured
Yep.
that forever
No commercial.
it's storage.
Well, he
It's
can't-
personal storage.
Since
Yep,
it's residential,
personal
he can't-
storage.
He'd have to get a special use permit, conditional use. permit.
Conditional use permit if he ever hung a shingle out to rent out space. Because it's in the residential district. In an agricultural district right across the road, that doesn't exist. He could go out and do that tomorrow.
Don't need it.
But in the residential, he can't, or that district can't.
Just like the previous one, same size building.
Any further comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion.
You better be good.
Make a motion that we approve the variance of maximum accessory structure size from 1,200 square feet with 12-foot sidewalls to build a 40-foot by 60-foot with 18-foot side walls, accessory structure in a moderate density R2 district. Due to the fact that an administrative permit was issued earlier with the idea that this accessory structure would be attached to a single-family home in the future, so therefore, only an administrative permit was used. This variance makes it legal as it stands right now, since the house is not going to be built. And furthermore, this building is not for commercial use, it's in an R2 residential area, it is for storage.
And
And I'll second that.
And
the original reading of that,
I
no.
already said that.
the hardship is due to the fact that the husband had died.
You're not giving me a C, okay, all right.
You hadn't said that. You want to add that?
Sure. And we're allowing this because the primary property owner has died before the plans could be completed.
Second.
I second it.
Why don't you guys arm wrestle to who seconds?
Any other comments?
I don't want to do
Any
it with
further
Deb.
comments or questions?
Petition, Amy?
Roll call.
Okay. So this is for approving the variance for the maximum accessory structure on the Harrow plat for on the Harrow ground. Volkstead,
Yes.
Gudo,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Koenig,
Yes.
Kettering,
Yes.
Betzinger,
Yes.
Duffmiller,
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you.
The next applicant is at 725, so we can go ahead with that, is Mr. Carl Schenk. Applicant is requesting a rezone from Agriculture District AG to Planned Unit Development District in Yankton County. Said property is legally described as northwest 1/4, Section 16, Township 93 North, Range 57 West, and North 1/2, and Southwest 1/4, and South half, Southwest 1/4, except Tract B 233, Section 16, Township 93 North, Range 57 West, and South 1/2, Southeast 1/4, Section 16, Township 93 North, Range 57 West, hereinafter referred to as Ziskov, South Township, County of Yankton, State of South Dakota. The 911 address is to be determined 430th Avenue, Tabor, South Dakota. Mr. Schenk, if you'd like to present your project.
Back in, back
Yeah,
out.
back up some more.
Wheel. Zoom in just a little bit.
Let me introduce on the right, it's a tiny zone, it's a little different.
I messed it up.
Oh,
Okay, we don't do these very often, so let me just go through some process with you. A rezone, you have a checklist in front of you. And in rezones, what we're doing is looking at a piece of property and seeing if that use of property would be in a better or more suitable use with a rezone. And so the rezone that's being proposed in front of us is from an ag to what's called a planned unit development. I know that you'll hear some more about this as you come along. You're going to have the covenants in front of you for that planned unit development. But in my experience over the 10 years that I've been doing this, planned unit developments have worked very well. I have less compliance issues in planned unit developments. I have less administrative work in planned unit developments. We have less governmental expenses in planned unit developments, meaning like roads and some of that infrastructure setups. So the ones that we have in our county so far I've been very pleased with. And by the way that the covenants and things are set up on this one is a replica of that. And so I highly recommend that we consider, after you read the points and see what's going on, a planned unit development for this. The alternative would be a low density, would be the other zoning that we would give this one. But low density requires a lot more effort on the county's part, and it also opens up a lot of different issues in their planned unit development with these covenants that are applied, help us with a lot of those issues, and we as a county don't have to enforce them.
Pat, do you have could you give us what the advantages of a PUD are over the others?
I would say that PUDs are they have their covenants, and so PUDs have very restrictive yard setbacks that meet or exceed what the county has. They also have very restrictive setbacks, or I would say building sizes that meet or exceed what the county has. But the other step that they do also is that they have very organized and structured road systems and utility systems that are taken care of by the planned unit development, which would be the homeowners association that is going to be running that development. So it's an internal development, and the homeowners association or the developer is responsible to make sure that those are implemented. On this one, we're doing it as a permanent easement through the development instead of dedicating it to the right-of-way, but we're dedicating a perpetual easement that is described in the plats that you see in front of you, and you see it also on your subdivision, that works well, very well for the PUD, which is planned unit development. So really what you're doing is you're planning units in this development, and this one doesn't have a lot of lots in it. It just has very large lots. So from an administrator standpoint and from how this layout is, I highly recommend the planned unit development zoning on that.
You mentioned this is a lot more favorable than going to R1.
Yeah.
Can you explain the differences, how much harder it'd be to go to R1?
We could do an R1 just as easy as we're doing a planned unit. We could.
You said there's a lot of advantages to PUDs.
But the PUDs, the R1s, put an awful lot of onerance on us as enforcers on building size. We also are very much involved in roads. We get very involved in roads within R1s, and that means your Kaiser Road or your 430th. We get very involved. When you go over to Deerfield, we're never involved in that road. We don't have anything to do with it. Let's go to, what's another one? Let's go to Calumet Bluff. I don't ever have to go up to Calumet Bluff. I issue building permits, but I don't have any violations in those PUDs either.
So
And that's over a 10-year
who writes the
experience.
specs, for all that, that is, it's got to be mandated by something.
It's right in.
It's in here.
It's in there. It's what you'll approve.
I've seen this, but I mean,
Yep.
but that's where the specs come for the roads
Yep,
and the septic, I imagine.
yep.
They're always more restrictive.
And,
aren't they?
yes, and they'll meet the guidelines, at least meet the guidelines that we expect from the county for subdivision ordinance. Everything in a planned unit has to at least meet the minimum guidelines that are expected in our ordinances, but many times they're greater. But they also are self-internally monitored and governed.
And they won't be crying to have Yankton County push them roads out.
No.
That's why he likes them.
It's the way it is. We're walking into it knowing that. It's saying it right on the.
Yeah,
They're responsible.
And so that's another reason why I'm promoting this on this. We can't do it across the board. because it's difficult, but there are some very good advantages to it in places, and this is one of them I believe we have here, from my experience. Hear the evidence, look at the siting, see what's there, but we're coming off and it's not that many lots, and so that's my recommendation. So rezone, you're looking at what is the best use of the property, and you've got lakeside property.
It's zoned ag right now, but how much of it is actual arable land?
Well, it depends on what you are, but not much is arable if you want to talk about it in cropland, but an awful lot of good grazed ground.
Good pasture.
It's pasture mostly.
Right against Boy Scout?
Yeah, it's really timbered heavily.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So when you see that little kind of liver-shaped piece there, that's the only hay ground that's on it.
Up there in the upper,
Yeah, there's 40 or 50, 45 to 52 acres of hay ground of the 320. The rest is timber or too rough.
Let me point out one more thing for you too. You have public ground, which is just south of this, which is the green. And then you also have, go off to your east, and you all of a sudden see more residential ground. So that's moderate density residential, and that's the tail end of rolling hills. See, or as you come up Gavin's Point and Gavin's Gulch down there, you have them down by the lake, and then you have rolling hills goes up into the hills there. So, and here we are over, just right over here. So it gives you another perspective.
and we're talking about the large, with the liver shape, the one below it.
Come down,
and the
I'll
one catty
let
corner.
Ross talk about that, and then, okay? So that's my input on that, thanks.
Thanks, Pat. I don't have a lot to add. This is the portion that's hayed as of right now.
That's the
The rest of it is large. This is all timbered through here. The development as it's laid out in the preliminary plat that you see before you starts up here and goes all the way down through this area and actually ends right up against the Rolling Hills development.
So
you
the
will
little
have
notch that's there.
This is a little piece that was conveyed by the government so that this property had access to this property.
Okay.
So this is actually platted in the preliminary plat as a 1 acre lot, which is theoretically big enough to put a house on it, but it's really the connector so that the road can get through here. For purposes, I believe the question was asked, are they going to be asking the county to plow this out? One thing we wanted to make clear was that this development, that the road that came through here was a private roadway dedicated by easement, so that access could be limited down through the development. And for that purpose, we actually brought a quiet title action in coordination with the county last year and had the court rule that from here to this point here is not public access, that it is by court order a private roadway or trail owned by the property owner through this area to accomplish our objective of keeping it private. So there will be no request to the county to clear this or otherwise maintain it. It'll be the responsibility of the property owners.
But it is 430th Avenue, correct?
Yeah, that's what it is. It is that on the map, and that goes back many decades. Because this originally serviced there was some sort of government.
Lesterville area.
Yeah, the Lesterville access area is what it was called. So it's got a 430th Avenue designation all the way through it, but by court order, it is no longer public from this point to the south. The lot sizes, if you see the preliminary plat in front of you there, vary between 18 to approximately 22 acres, but on average, they're about 20 acres apiece. The goal of having large lot sizes, you can have horses and have more flexibility with with your residential uses out there, but it's designed for residential use. The lots as designed do conform with the subdivision preliminary design ordinance as well, Article 4 of your subdivision ordinance.
I had one question. You said
Yep.
the lot sizes. I noticed how they're numbered. What happened to 11?
That's this little guy right here.
The little square is 11?
That's 11, yeah.
All right. Got my curiosity up.
Yep.
Ross, are you
Yes.
gonna allow metal buildings on there?
If you look at the
Hey,
covenants.
You gotta read the covenants.
Yeah, the covenants that are in there do permit a small accessory structure like a shed, which is limited in size, and one metal building. But if you're going to do a metal building accessory structure, it must be a Morton brand building, and there's design criteria associated with that. So we have a common design for the whole development.
I have to compliment you. I live in a PUD. Our homeowners association and covenants are good, but these are very good, very thorough. I compliment the idea about the Morton building. You give the size, you give the overhang. I mean, there's no question here. You give color. There's no question we wouldn't come up with some of the problems that we've seen in other building developments right now about accessory size or accessory color. I think you've got it covered very well here.
And these lots would not be subdivided at any time.
No, not
I mean,
with.
that's gotta be a no.
And to help you out with that again, your next step is gonna be approving the subdivision plat, which can't be changed unless they come back to us and ask us to change it.
That's correct.
So it has to go through a hearing.
Right, and then these buildings, these accessory structures, a bit of a problem in some of these areas.
So it has to come back to the board if we change what we set up.
So you're not gonna have like lot 1 or block 1, block 9, block 8?
It's lots.
You know, as lots, you know, to where you put 8 houses in there and then all of a sudden they could come on up and one guy wants to build a structure in there and then they gotta ask the other ones.
It's very clear. It's very clear in the covenant.
We've tried to think of everything, and our design criteria is more limiting or restrictive than your existing zoning ordinance.
Yeah, it's outbuilding and an accessory structure, and you've gone so far as to talk about the earth tones and.
But this kind of a development is better for the county. These covenants are enforceable, but it's enforceable civilly. It doesn't burden.
Exactly, the covenants always exceed what I.
One thing that I would throw out that maybe add in the covenant is that we have, as planning and zoning board, have asked people that are purchasing residential real estate in the country to acknowledge that they're building in an ag area, and therefore there may be smells and various other things that go on. I'd like to see that added to this covenant.
You'll see that it's in the covenants as drafted. They've specifically waived any claim to the creation of a nuisance by the agricultural use of surrounding properties. And,
Because if one person wants a horse and the next person wants something else, all of a sudden, then they're screaming.
Bingo.
They're limited to one horse.
No hunting,
For
right?
6 acres, yeah.
Oh, they can hunt on, can't they? Yeah.
It's right in
It's
there.
their
Yeah,
property.
they can hunt on their property. There's 20 acres on each of these lots.
Dog house, dog kennel.
So just a question I have, because of something else I do, have you asked for the availability of water resources to these lots as you develop them?
Yeah, in fact, one of the items in the petition before you is a design schematic. Is that what you call that? Yeah, a water plan to bring water into the development to at least service the first 4 lots moving forward. And as the development is platted moving to the south, more water will be used. The pipe that's being brought in is larger than the minimum specs that BY Water is requiring, so that we have enough capacity to service the entire development.
BY will bring water in?
Yes.
It could disappear tomorrow. If somebody built to the north a large development and gobbled up all the capacity, it could leave tomorrow. The only way to guarantee yourself water is to buy the hookup and pay the minimum monthly. So if you have 15 lots here, you don't want to be paying $15,000 to hook them all up and then pay the minimum for, who knows, 10 years until all the lots are sold. But yes, the water could disappear tomorrow. That's a chance you take anywhere in the county with BY Water. You hope it doesn't happen.
Unless you wanted to pay for a heck of a lot of hookups.
Right.
Which would
Right.
cost prohibitive.
Yeah. And this is good for the county, you guys. If you think of Deerfield Ranch Estates and similar developments, that was started 20 years ago. It was finished about 10 years ago and added about $4.1 million of assessed value to the county. And it's minimal work for Patton and the county to contend with. Yeah. Anybody have any other questions?
What's the other one? Do you have another example, another?
We were talking about it earlier today.
Marina Park?
Yeah, Marina Park.
Yes, what's Marina?
Yeah.
Very similar covenants.
Yep.
In both.
That one's,
That one's not a PUD though.
Yeah.
Marina Park, but similar covenants.
it was developed out similarly.
All righty.
Okay.
Is there anyone from the audience who would like to speak for this project? Is there anyone from this audience who would like to speak against this project?
He never stated his name for the record. You might want that in.
I'm attorney Ross Denherter, representing Carl Shank.
Is it appropriate time to ask a question?
Yeah, you can come up or we'll back up a second. If anyone's in favor of this or has any, or opposed, come up and tell me your name, address, and then you can ask the question.
I'm Barry Schloss, and I reside at the Boy Scout camp, 31069 430th Avenue. I just had a question. The permanent easements, how easy is it to change the PUD covenants down the road? Can they be changed without county approval, or they have to go through county approval if they're going to be changed? For instance, today, the minimum acreage is 22 acres per block, and then they decide to make them 3 acres per block. Can they do that, or that has to go through county approval?
You'd have to go through.
We don't have anything to do with covenants.
They gotta come back.
Covenants are more restrictive than that.
No, that has to go through county.
No, it
approval.
has to go through.
They'd have to
But
go,
not covenants, though.
In order to change the covenants in the PUD, which is.
right now it's platted, is designed like this, it'd have to come back to the county to replat the lots.
Oh, okay, because it is a PUD.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, that's all I was questioning. So they would be very public if something was going to change. Thank you.
Same process as you're getting right now.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, you wanted a question? If you come up, name, address, where you're located.
My name is John Schneider. I own the property adjoining this. Particularly, I own the road that leads to the development, which has been labeled as not public. Well, it's a private road.
Where is yours, sir? Are you north of?
It's right to the east and right to the north.
Yeah. This is 430th.
You've got to scroll that thing down a little bit for him.
Want to bring it down a little?
Yeah,
Zoom it out.
just right here, you got these two parts.
I
of
believe
one
this
side.
is, where is Carl's land starts here?
No, at the top.
Top left corner.
Right there.
Okay, so
Right
this
there.
would be, yeah, this would be our.
Yeah,
our
yeah,
road.
yeah, it just shows like here, right here, you go like this, and then here you got 431 acres here.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
and so, there's been no talk of any easement to cross our land.
But it is a road right now, correct? 430th Avenue is a road?
No, I've talked to the county and they claim no ownership to it. We pay taxes on it, it's our
There must be a right of way there.
our property. But, yeah, I've talked to Carl and I have no, there's no right of way. When the Lesterville area was first open to the public, that land was, the right-of-way for that was taken off of the deed. But in that, they said that if they quit using the road or maintaining the road, it would revert back to the original owners. There's been no work maintenance-wise, done that on that road for 40 years. I mean, so I'm considering it my property. I talked to the county. They said they have no ownership to it. They have done no work to it. I just feel that I should be considered in this because Carl's allowing people to cross this road. He's developed it. He's made a nice gravel base for it and improved it a lot, but just seems to.
The whole road or just the portion on his property?
He's gone the whole road.
Across your property.
Across my
The portion of
property.
the road that you're concerned about, that you're talking about, that there's no, claim that there's no right of way on.
Right there.
There to there.
Yeah,
But you're saying that Carl has put gravel on it and improved it?
he has, and with my permission.
Okay.
But he has a barrier at his property.
So you're saying Carl
And-
has no access to his land down there?
No, he has no
Well, there's no
access.
such thing as a land that doesn't have access to it.
Well,
Where's the barrier?
right,
So it's not, it's just to keep anybody else out?
it's a lock gate, it's a barrier.
Okay.
Mm-hmm,
So there's no right of way to his land, you're saying?
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, it's a private road.
Well, you can't have land that has no access.
That's right, you could, no, I mean, we could ask an attorney, but they wouldn't.
No, and I understand that I can't stop any, him from crossing my land to get to it. But I think that there should be an easement involved with it, that I should be at least asked to give him permission to use it. And I've been,
Is it, the road to the Boy Scout camp also crosses your land, correct?
Yep.
So
Right-
you have
right there.
an easement with the Boy Scout camp?
yes, we gave them some of that property for the road to enter the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
You're saying there was never a right of way for 430th Avenue?
I'm saying that that was an established road back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. That the road was made and then it was abandoned.
So you're saying that in the document somewhere that says if it's abandoned, then it reverts back to your ownership,
Yes.
and there is no easement at that time?
But public
Has it ever been abandoned?
public right of ways don't go away though.
Or has it always been actually used by Carl, or there was relatives before Carl that used it consistently?
Mm-hmm. It's been used.
Consistently for access in the hayfield or running cattle or something on there.
Mhm.
So it's never actually been abandoned.
Carl would have no access to his land.
It's been abandoned by the county maintenance.
Well, that's mine too, but that's
Mhm.
another story.
Just be careful, my guys.
And again, I'm not against Carl's project. I do feel that nature is being closed off by this development.
Is that what your concern is that you don't have access now down, to go further down 430?
That's part of it, yeah. Carl will allow people that are interested in looking at his property in, or I'm sure whoever's gonna buy it will have keys to open up this gate, but I have no access to go down, say, for instance, to the Lesterville public access area. But he, he's crosses my land all the time.
And you can't come up from the south to your other piece either? You know, your south piece, how do you get to that? That south 200 acres?
Uh-huh.
Where's that at?
Yeah, field
Well,
roads.
There's that, 231
This area over here.
right to the north, and then there's another 200 in,
Runs L-shaped.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there's
kind of an
field
L-shape.
roads, of course, we maintain the fence and all.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you run cows there?
Yes.
Yep. And there's some hay ground and crop ground and,
We're trying to make it in habitat, a natural habitat. There's CRP and we have food plots and pollinator plots, but there's no row crops. It's just pasture and natural grassland.
But you run cows on it. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I see very little option that we have without legal advice.
Well, let me give a couple things before we finish this. We do have some. We've looked into this. Let me just tell you what we know so far.
Well, stop or sever.
Okay, I was just telling Mr. Schneider.
This is after
we
talking to
finished
Rob or
testifying.
something? The county attorney or what?
I can address many of Mr. Schneider's concerns also, if you'll give me an opportunity when Pat's done.
Go ahead, Pat.
Okay,
We have looked into this, and we're not going to be lawyers and say that we know what there is, although we have looked into Mr. Shank and the property has received title insurance from the title company in Yankton here, saying that there is legal and full access to this property on this road. And the title insurance has been issued, and I have been told by the issuer that that has been covered, and that they see no problem with the access to this property, which has been completed by title insurance. And I have an individual that called me and told me specifically that she would give us the policy if we felt we needed it in our booklet, but the policy stands as well as a letter. They are acknowledging that they feel that this property has sufficient and legal access with their title insurance.
Which means they found a right of way on some plat back in the book.
I have to say that.
You can drive on that road? Is that
Excuse
what
me?
you're saying?
Title insurance is saying that that lower property that Carl owns,
Right.
that is in between the entrance from the Boy Scout camp through the Snyder property,
Right.
is public access, is public road. They see no issues with that property being
So where's the private road that we were talking about?
right
Green line
afterwards. Now,
All right.
now it starts.
Oh, it goes just to that line, so Carl can still keep that gate locked.
Yes, that's going to be his gated community. But the title insurance, we're going to stay pragmatic here. The title insurance says that property, that property ending in, what is that?
600.
That property ending in 600, and the next property down, and the next property down on those plats, by title insurance says that they have full and clear access. That fits it for us. What more, as a planning commission, are we supposed to do?
I think that's all we have to hear.
That means
Right.
there's no way there could be
That-
access
that-
to a property. I mean, that's something else fishy.
And the legal, whatever they did legally between the county and the rest of 430th, when they,
Do you know, Ross, was it an easement or is it a right of way for to Mr. Shank's property?
It's a right-of-way to Mr. Shank's property.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
like a public right of way, yeah.
Yeah. There's essentially 3 documents, though, that if you would like, we can add it to your record here for purposes of establishing this right-of-way. I don't know if you want it or need it, but the first is the actual grant of right-of-way granted by Hans Madsen in 1887 for the creation of the roadway. And what it did was it called out the public right-of-way from the northwestern corner of Mr. Schneider's property, a distance of 40 chains, but it's essentially the length of a section line cocked at an angle. So what that did was it created public right-of-way for 430th Avenue, the distance of a section line, but cocked 10 degrees. So it actually created dedicated right-of-way to about right there. But thereafter, in 1970, okay, 1959, when the Boy Scout access point right there was platted and conveyed to the Boy Scouts, the predecessor in interest for Mr. Schneider would be Kenneth Schneider. In his plat, identified the entire roadway from the northwest corner all the way to the section line as county road. In the years that followed, the county then proceeded to maintain this section of roadway, and in order to make sure we had a fully documented file, we obtained an affidavit from Alan Sorensen, the prior highway superintendent, who stated under oath to the county's maintenance of that roadway, putting to rest any argument that that was not dedicated as public roadway. When the county takes responsibility and puts money into its improvement, that creates an implied dedication. So even if there was a question about this little piece right there that wasn't dedicated, it was put to rest by the 1959 plat by Mr. Schneider, along with the county's maintenance through this entire section. Now, the county does have an ability to get rid of public rights-of-way, but the process to abandon is actually the vacation process, which is an affirmative act that the county has to take on in order to do that. So
It just doesn't happen over time.
no, they can't just say, okay, we're done with it, it's not our responsibility anymore. They actually have to take the affirmative steps of vacating the right-of-way. And there's
So the
a
section
process
line
for that.
south, was that ever maintained by the county?
The section line, oh, from here?
Yeah.
That's what was questionable. We couldn't find evidence of that, which is why last summer we did that quiet title that had the judge rule on this section right here to make it clear for the world and for this development purposes that that was, from this point south, private property. Does that make sense? So we've got public access to this point and private roadway south of that. Do you guys want these records for?
I think they
Okay.
need to be part of the,
Pat, could I have you copy these for me?
This is the document that I was talking about, where they mentioned to,
you need to,
revert back to the owner.
What stage is the
Uh,
process?
well, have you seen this?
I think Russ should be handling
It's one of the
that.
documents that I got.
Well, I don't know who's supposed to read it.
Yeah, that's the original one.
I think it's supposed to be Russ.
The original dedication right away.
Russ, did you see the records that he brought up?
It's the same.
It's one of the three documents I just gave you.
All right.
Okay, so again, with our research and us looking at it, and just by to me, the judge or the one that's really doing the research on it would be the title. And with title saying they've given title to this, I have to say, at least on our purposes, for our purposes on this property, and in our rezone and setting this up, that we have, the access has been verified for us. So that's how I'm, and I'm basing that on the fact that after all this evidence was put together, the title insurance says, yes, we are going to cover it.
See what we're looking at right now is rezoning, right? Rezoning from
Yes, ag to party, that's what we're looking
I
at.
see no problem whatsoever with
Is there any additional comments from public for or against, since we kind of got out of order? Okay, back to the planning commission.
What was that piece of paper that he brought up to you?
Right here.
It's the same, I guess.
It was a 1887 document, right-of-way release.
Is that what Jeff has?
I'm not sure.
That's a trust.
Oh, no, this one here.
Commissioner comments now?
Yes.
Okay.
I can show you where the important part of it to me is anyway. It's right.
So you're claiming, sir, that he has no access to his land, though? Is that what you're saying?
I gave him permission to cross my scratched out at any time.
But now you're saying the only way he has access to his land is through your permission, is that what you're saying?
He wants it recognized that he has a claim to ownership
Right.
of where the roadway would be.
And now,
It is a
But I think they did a title search, sir. They did
county road now?
They did a title search, sir.
Well, it's, yeah, when they do.
You can't, we're not here to do that.
We don't.
Just a question for you.
There's
The road
access to it.
south from the gate,
Yes,
that is Carl Shank's property.
just,
Okay.
commission, please, just listen to me just a little bit. Mr. Snyder, please sit down.
No, I have a question.
No, I want to get the order back, please.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
All right.
First of all, I want the commission to know what their responsibilities are here. We are not in
Approving the
this,
PUD, that's our responsibility.
we're approving this rezone, and if the experts are showing us that this access line, if it goes to other ways or it goes in different directions, that's not our purview. We're not the judge here.
There's
Okay,
access to it.
so I don't want your questions going off too far into trying to solve that issue if there is one to be solved. But now, just go ahead and we close the public comment, we close it so that you can discuss it too. Okay, thank you.
Public comment is closed, back to the planning commission. So my question on this is, if this goes forward, part of the ease of finding historical documents is I think that we would put in the information that we have, the concerns, the current title insurance was issued on this. You know, then when you come in and you're trying to find this piece, that's the key thing, that how did they get back to where we're at? You know, I think that's important.
Let me see that. You have it still.
Don, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, if this gentleman claims there's no access to it, it's not for us to worry about. He could settle it in court, but.
The title insurance may have to pay.
That's what
If there's something, if there's contested, then the title insurance may have to pay it. They're
That's not our
assuring that there is access.
My question that I had was, from the section line, the road going on south,
They did a quick claim with the county, and it's theirs now.
it's the county. No, it's not.
It's not the county's, it's theirs.
It's theirs.
Carl, you
But-
talking right here?
Yeah,
Okay, that's section line, this is supposed to be
Right.
Carl's, right?
yeah, that's all private now.
And then this here is Mr. Snyder's, right?
Yeah. Okay, now the private, well, your name again, sir, was?
John Snyder.
John? Why would you have a need to be on Carl Shank's property?
I don't have, I was asking permission from him, as I've given him permission to be on my road.
Well, okay, you can ask him for permission, but it's not for us to decide here. I think it's all been done.
Once we're on it, we're still talking about access, which we have, if there's access to the property, there's all to it.
That has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a motion, one way or the other, on this property presentation?
Move approval of the proposed
PUD. And rezoned from
Ag.
as
ag to PUD.
rezoned from ag to AZ or?
PUD.
PUD.
Okay.
I'll second that, Becker.
Based on the,
Based on the findings of the information presented here in the policy search,
and the covenants provided by the, what's he called? What do we call them, as
Lake Forest.
Lake Forest Estates.
Planned unit development.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the lot sizes and the covenants.
Okay, who gave me a second? Becker?
Becker did.
Okay, so, and I'll make the notes with what Mr. Welch requested regarding access and the title insurance.
Still got plans to do this.
Okay, Kettering,
yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Goodall,
Yes.
Koenig,
Yes.
Goldenstedt,
Yes.
Kretzinger.
Yes. I said yes.
Okay, thanks. Jeff Miller,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is listed at 7:35. Mr. Carl Shank, applicant, is submitting a preliminary plan for Planning Commission consideration under subdivision ordinance, Article 4, Section 402. Said property is legally described as northwest 1/4 Section 16, 10, Township 93 North, Range 57 West, and North 1/2, Southwest 1/4, and South 1/2, Southwest 1/4, except Track B233, Section 16, Township 93 North, Range 57 West, and South 1/2, Southeast 1/4, Section 16, Township 93 North, Range 57 West, hereafter referred as Zivkov, South Township, County of Yankton, State of South Dakota. 911 addresses to be announced, 430th Avenue, Tabor, South Dakota.
Okay, I'll present this for us. So this is, we haven't done very many, but this is the preliminary plat. And this preliminary plat then shows us what the plan is for what we just gave a rezone to. So if you open it up, you're going to see page 1 and then page 2. Okay, now, as a planning commission, what we have to look for again is, are the roads wide enough? Are the lots appropriate? So again, open it up there, and then you're kind of printed on front and back there, but it should be, one will be rectangle lots, and then one will be just square lots. You see them? Okay, so page 1. Page 1 is this area right here. That's that
You want
area.
to drag that up, please?
Yep. Page 1 is,
It goes all the way down.
Right there.
is this lot and this lot. Is page 1.
Right.
Okay? We have the road going down through there. It's platted. As the lots are sold, the road will be platted appropriately so everybody has access. Now, as long as Mr. Shank and the developer maintains these pins, then each time that they sell a lot, they do not have to come back in front of the planning commission as long as they maintain this plan. If they deviate from the plan at all, they come back to the planning commission. It's a public hearing again. But if they don't, and he comes in and sells lot 7 next week, or even lot 1 is going to be coming up real soon, that can just go straight to the commission now. We don't have to look at it again because you're approving it now. It didn't change any. So that's what's going to happen as we sell these lots. And that works well. That's what's in the subdivision for us. So, and you're looking at that, and then also, then we come over, it was mentioned a little bit earlier there, but this has that little jog that comes over here, and then your other plats are right here. Right, Carl? Yep. These plats.
Vertical property.
On your other page, they run
12,
across,
13, 14, and 15.
yeah, they run across here. And then I have one more plat right there, the little guy. And he's on the first page, way down at the corner.
Yep.
Bottom right.
Okay, so now so then they met the requirements that we're looking for. Road grade, road width, how's the utilities gonna work, how's the laying out, and as long as he doesn't change any of these things over the next 3-4 years, he can sell these plats and then they just go straight to the commission.
So with all this talk about the road, is it still going to be titled 430th Avenue? Or maybe
No,
the
I think we'll end up changing it. Because it's getting off the beaten path so much, it's clear over in the middle of the section, so it won't be on 430th anymore. As we keep working our way over.
What about the rest of the road that's down?
It'll stop at, we'll look at it, I'll talk to E91, but I think it'll stop at Boy Scout camp.
But that is the only access is from the north,
Yes.
so then they're gonna be coming in on a, not that it's our problem, but unmaintained road,
On their road.
on their road.
Yep.
On the
Like
west side of
so many-
Mr. Sheffield's
like so
land.
many areas out
The
there.
county is not taking care of the
Right.
portion on Snyder.
No, they're gonna have to take care of that too. They got to plow that out too. The county is not taking care of that. The county turns around right there at the Boy Scout, at the hard top. Correct,
They
Barry?
don't do the Boy Scout either.
The county turns around at the hard top.
Our county road, our driveway comes right up to the Blacktop Road.
That's
It
it.
isn't Blacktop, it's ours.
That's right, okay.
Went into our property.
Okay. So they stop right here. Okay, any other questions for me? Okay, so these, now, the beauty of this, just to remind you again, one for developers and things, is that as they sell these lots, they don't have to go through this longer 2-month period. We can just, we've already approved them already. Okay, thank you.
Is there any discussion for this project from the audience? Is there any discussion opposed to this? And all this is really is showing the plat plan for what was previously
Called the
approved.
subdivision. Subdivision ordinance.
There's no comment from, yes?
Okay.
Come on up, identify your name, address, and location of the properties.
Hi, I'm Christy Schultz. I live at 44121 Southwest Jim River Road. So 430th Avenue is connecting the public to the public access for the Lesterville public access? Is that correct?
That's not correct.
No.
It's not?
Used to,
It used to.
yes.
Okay, so they will still have public access then?
The South Dakota Department of Parks put a sign there at that gate that was discussed earlier that says that Lesterville access is now directed to
Tabor.
It's a little brown sign they put up, they said, this is what they said, and I just saw it yesterday. But the access now is in this public ground here. And that you will access it from the Gavin's Point area. So I'm bringing up my zoning districts. The sign says that it's accessed from here.
right here.
Okay. I also have another question. If the road has not been vacated, then how did he get a quiet title to it?
Nancy said that they provided the title.
You know, because it's either public access or it's vacated. It can't be both.
It hadn't been maintained by the county.
Well, then you're supporting his argument.
Mr. Denherter, you want to answer that?
Because it can't be two things at the same time. It's either a public access road or it's been vacated by the county. And you just said that you have no documentation that it was vacated.
But we have no documentation it's a public access road.
I have a public access road that's half a mile long.
Let Mr. Denherter explain it. He would probably know the law.
That was the purpose of the quiet title lawsuit. A judge actually ruled what the status of that roadway was to take this issue off the table. We have a court order and an action that the county was a party to that specified that that chunk of property, that chunk of roadway that crosses Carl's property that's the subject of this preliminary plat is private road. That was actually published at the beginning of the lawsuit and at the end of the lawsuit for any interested party to come in and bring any evidence to the contrary. The court looked at it and was satisfied that the evidence established that that was a private roadway and no longer was there any public access through that, if there ever was.
So is that a vacation?
It has the same legal effect. It just didn't, yeah, because the court has ruled upon it as opposed to the county going through the vacation process. It accomplishes the same purpose.
And the county agreed, so they gave it up in essence.
The county didn't contest the action, for whatever that's worth, but the county was a party defendant. Essentially, the county was sued in that particular action. It was just I guess you'd call it a non-adversarial proceeding, but county was a defendant.
We'll go back to the Plan Commission, comments or clarifications or questions. No issues if we have a motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, so we're approving the subdivision application as applied, which is showing out the plat of the proposed.
Lake Forest Estates.
Yep. Okay, Kettering,
Yes.
Udall,
Yes.
Coning,
Yes.
Betzinger,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Olmsted,
Yes,
Duff Miller,
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, that's the end of the items on the agenda. The last actual item on the agenda is public comment. If anyone wants to come up and give a public comment, if they could sign in, they could sign in here, and then we'll give each person 2 minutes. And they can sign right here on this, and we keep that. If there's anybody that had a general public comment. Oh, we even have a public comment signing sheet. If there's anyone, 2 minutes. All right, I take that as there's no public comment. If we have.
There
any-
being no public comment, Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor of adjourning? Aye. Opposed?